Good morning, one and all. Happy to see all of you today. Some of you may be wondering why that particular poster and something from space. Today's talk is basically about welfare and happiness, and a lot of the actions we do, whether here or hereafter, affect a lot of things. And the actions tend to be something we can change, we can learn from, and we can, improve. But whatever is done, whatever is spoken, is gone. It's already cemented. That's why I show this picture. Actually, is of a black hole, a large cosmic body with extreme gravity that even light cannot escape it. It's so strong. That's why it's called black. So light bends. Normally, lights go straight, but when there's a black hole nearby, it just goes into the black hole. So whatever we done, whatever we say, whatever done is done, gone. So we can only do things by thinking. Make sure we don't make a mistake. Then only we do it. That's the important message of this particular poster. Now, of course, we continue in the series of the Dighajanu Sutta. And the Dighajanu Sutta, the word Digha and Janu, Digha means long, Janu is actually knee. It's actually a sutta given by the Buddha to a lay person who is also known by nickname Long Knee, Mr. Long Knee. He must be very tall and having already long knees. And the sutta basically starts with a simple encounter by the Buddha with this lay person in the Korea country, up north in the Himalayas, even further north than his Kampong country, South Sakya. And he came to the Buddha, paid respects as usual. And then he asked a very interesting question. And this particular question is to do with declaring that he's a lay person, like all of us here. And what can I do to take care of things, to have welfare and happiness in this life and in future lives? Okay, if the Buddha was here, I think we will ask the same question also lah. Okay. This is a very, very commonsensical question which any lay person would want to ask. And the Buddha gave some interesting answers in this particular thing. And here, of course, the many weeks before, different Dhamma speakers have already given some issues regarding welfare in here and hereafter. Okay, so the here aspect has been covered by various speakers. And this is the list of 4 things. This particular sutta is found in the Angkaturan Nikaya, Book of 8. Why Book of 8? Because all the suttas there have 8 advices. And this particular sutta is divided into 4 and 4. 4 in the here and 4 about hereafter. So earlier weeks we have already covered aspects about initiative, vigilance of protecting your property, whatever things you have built up, protecting your home and all that. Of course, good friendship, very, very important in Dhamma practice. And of course, balanced finances. That was the last particular sharing. Now, moving on, today's next 4 is talking about hereafter. That means, what do we need to prepare? What foundations do we need to, or can we lay so that our hereafter, our next life, or the multiple lives are in the better state? Okay. So this one talking about the future lives. And here, the list covers aspect of faith. Now, the words, Pali word saddha, faith, though I prefer to use the translation called confidence, because I always associate faith with blind faith. But in Buddhism, we are talking more of confidence. Confidence has to be earned. You have to prove yourself to be a good person, a competent person, a skillful person. Then only people have confidence that you can paint my house, you can lay bricks to build something, renovate my house. You must have, we as a customer, we must have confidence in the other person. That's why sometimes we ask for recommendations from your previous customer or complaints. Or nowadays we have social media. We also check, hey, this mechanic want to repair my car. Any complaints about him? So we check social media. Some people complain by writing in the social media, hey, this shop no good lah. This shop very good lah, good service and very courteous and all this kind of thing. So we, of course, we will go to the one who give us good service lah. This is common sense. So confidence is important. Now, of course, the other aspect is that of virtue or ethics, sila, and then further down, generosity, and the last one, wisdom. Now, today's topic, we will cover that aspect of ethics, virtue, or sila. And here, since the Pali word is called sila sampada, we have to understand what is the meaning of this word. Now, just for information, Pali has a knack of conjugating or joining different words together. So sila sampada sounds like a very big word, a very long word, and there are some other Pali words which are even longer. This one happens to be made up of at least two words joined together, sila and sampada. So the dictionary meaning of sila is that of morality, okay, or behavior. Now the emphasis is on behavior showing your good character. Good character means your upbringing, your practice, your how you behave in front of other people. And then comes sampada, attainment, accomplishment, what you have done. So accomplishment of good character, that means you are showing good character and so on. And that particular aspect is very, very important. Now, further on, the sutta gives this list, which is very familiar. Just now in the puja, we have already recited or committed ourselves to observe, to practice the 5 precepts. This is the list of 5 precepts, which is contained in Sila Sampada. So the Buddha was advising this lay person who was asking a question, what are the things I can do in this life to take care of the now and the hereafter? And since we are talking about the hereafter, and of the hereafter, there are 4, and the second aspect in the hereafter is that of moral standing, virtue, and good character. And the Buddha lists this list of 5. Now, most of us have heard many, many talks about the 5 precepts. But I'd like to draw your attention to some aspects of these 5 precepts from other suttas. This sutta doesn't go deeper to explain what aspect of these 5 precepts, how you should practice it, what is your viewpoint and all that. That I have decided to, explore the Nikayas, the Buddhist scriptures, as to some of the aspects we need to consider. And then later on, we talk about how we want to practice it also. And what are the implications of the practice of virtue, of developing character, good character within ourselves, has on not just our future life, but even on enlightenment, which is beyond the question of this Dighajanu, okay? But I will show you the implications. Okay, in this particular sutta, which I think you have seen before, now Velu means bamboo. Veluda Varaya. This sutta is given. Now, bamboo gates, where are they found? Well, the first thing you see bamboo, you must think of Rajagaha, the capital of the Magadha country during the time of King Bimbisara. Now, here the excerpt says, a noble disciple reflects. Now, in practicing the 5 precepts, you have to do a lot of reflection. Now, here the Buddha says, I want to live, I don't want to die. I want to be happy and recoil from pain. That I'm sure nobody disagrees. Now, since this is so, if one were to take my life, were to kill me, I wouldn't like that. Okay? And this doesn't just cover us, we cover a lot of other living beings also. But never mind about other living beings, we take care of us. How are we going to feel about that? Now, but others also want to live and don't want to die. So we don't want to be hurt, we don't want to die, we want to live. But other living beings, okay, everyone here in the hall also want to live and don't want to die. They want to be happy and they also recoil from pain. Okay. Now, so if I were to take the life of someone else, they wouldn't like that either. Okay, very common sense. The Buddha doesn't give very complicated philosophical details, but to a layperson, this is direct. Now, the thing that is disliked by me is also disliked by others. Since I dislike this thing, how can I inflict it on someone else? Okay, this is a logical conclusion from this kind of analysis. And the Buddha encourages us to consider this repeatedly so that it sinks in. Now, reflecting in this way, because they reflect a lot, they give up killing living creatures themselves. Okay, which is very important. That's the first thing. They give up killing living creatures themselves. Now, here the issue of they give up killing means they themselves, with their own hand, whether to a gun or a knife or whatever, okay, they don't do it. Nothing to do with buying meat from the supermarket. Nah? You didn't kill. You didn't take a knife or a gun to shoot the chicken. No, you didn't do that. That you didn't kill. Here, the Buddha is saying they give up killing. So they themselves personally didn't take their own hand and destroy the life of another living being. You must understand that part. Don't, what they call in Chinese, something they say, ka liu lah. Okay, until the imagination runs wild, until the understanding becomes distorted. Okay, they give up killing. Number two, they encourage others to give up killing living creatures. So they spread the word, they spread the good character, the building of the character of encouraging others to stop killing living beings. And number three, they praise the giving up of killing living creatures. So anybody who also does that to avoid killing, they also praise, this is a good person, or he doesn't kill. So there are three aspects. So their bodily behavior is purified in 3 points. Now notice in Buddhism, the time when you recited in the puja, and even in the Dighajanu Sutta, everything is about action, to do, not to pray, Okay? Buddhism is about taking things, doing something to improve yourself so that, or lay the foundation to save money or whatever, is to do, not pray. So emphasis on praying in Buddhism is minimized. Okay? More important is to do. So if you ask the Buddha to choose, oh, that fellow prays a lot, this fellow take action and follow what he teaches. The Buddha say, the one who actually practices what he teaches, the Buddha praises more. Praying is discouraged. So even in this particular sutta, this is action, it's reflection, and then you stop killing, you encourage others, you praise the behavior. So this is action on avoidance or giving up of killing. Now we move on to the second of the 5 precepts. Again, the same iteration. If someone were to steal from me, I wouldn't like that. But if I were to steal from someone else, they wouldn't like that either. The thing that is disliked by me is also disliked by others. Since I dislike this thing, how can I inflict it on someone else? So reflecting thus, they give up stealing themselves. They encourage others to give up stealing, and they praise the giving up of stealing. So their bodily behavior is purified in these 3 points. Moving on, the third aspect of in the 5 precepts is to do with sexual relations or sexual misconduct. If someone were to have sexual relations with my wives, those days they had polygamous society, so have sexual relations with my wives, I wouldn't like it. But if I were to have sexual relations with someone else's wives, that someone would also not like it either. The thing that is disliked by me is also disliked by others. Since I dislike this thing, how can I inflict on others? So reflecting in this way, they themselves give up sexual misconduct. They encourage others to give up sexual misconduct. They praise the giving up of sexual misconduct. And their behavior is purified in these 3 points. Notice all these points always end with 3 points. They themselves give up, they encourage people to follow these precepts, and also they praise those people who practice this precept. And of course, the same thing for speech. In the 5 precepts, the aspect of speech is only touching on lying. But for those who want to practice a little bit deeper, speech covers many other things. Harsh speech, malicious speech, and so on. But never mind, we confine ourselves to 5 things, which the Buddha was teaching Dighajanu. So if someone were to distort my meaning by lying, I wouldn't like that. But if I were to distort someone else's meaning by lying, they wouldn't like it either. The thing that is disliked by me is also disliked by someone else. And since I dislike this thing, how can I inflict it on others? And again, emphasis is on reflection. Reflecting in this way, they themselves give up lying, they encourage others to give up lying, and they praise those who give up lying. So their verbal behavior is again purified in these 3 points. You notice the picture on the bottom right? Someone who swears to tell the truth and nothing but the truth by the back cross finger, which means the person will likely give a false testimony. Now, that earlier Bamboo Gate Sutta didn't touch on intoxicants. Now we go straight to the Sigalovada Sutta, which is quite a long sutta, from the Digha Nikaya, Sutta number 31. Here, this particular page I extracted talks about the 6 drains on wealth. Okay, now there are these 6 drawbacks of habitually drinking alcohol. In those days, it was quite common. This 2,600 years ago, up to today, 21st century, we still got all kinds of drinks. So immediate loss of wealth, promotion of quarrels. When people get drunk, people cannot control themselves. They say all sorts of things. And of course, when they simply say things, other people get upset and there will be quarrels. Susceptibility to illness, disrepute, your reputation go down the drain. Indecent exposure, because you are not conscious of how you are dressing already. Weakened wisdom is the 6th thing. Okay, not wise. These are the 6 drawbacks of habitually drinking alcohol. Now, other than this, we often say the 5th precept is important. Why? It helps you to practice the other 4 precepts properly. Because to practice the other 4, you have to be mindful, concentrated, sober, awake. Okay, if you are mabuk already, you don't know what you're doing, it's very easy to kill, to steal, commit sexual misconduct, to lie. Okay, that is common sense also for us. So these are some of the aspects we need to understand about what they call. Here in the Abhisanda Sutta, the Sutta on rewards. Now notice it is from the Anguttara Nikaya, Book of 8, Sutta number 39. So there are 8 points. But here, this portion of the Sutta talks about 5 gifts and 5 great gifts. Then how come 5 only? But the Sutta says 8. The first 3, before it touches on this one, talks about confidence, okay, faith in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Okay, once you have confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, then the Buddha continues the sutta by talking about this. There are these 5 gifts, 5 great gifts, original, long-standing, traditional, ancient, unadulterated, from the beginning, that are not open to suspicion, will never be open to suspicion, and are unfaulted by knowledgeable contemplatives or priests. Okay, which 5? I won't go through the whole 5 precepts, but I will just touch on the first precept. There is a case when the disciple of the noble ones, abandoning the taking of life, abstains from taking a life. Notice I put ... This sutta, because there's 5, I only touch on number 1. ... means cover the other precepts also. But they also go through the same logic. In doing so, he gives freedom from danger, freedom from animosity, freedom from oppression to limitless numbers of beings. So what are you doing? What do you mean by give freedom from danger? You're telling the world, hey, I will not harm you. I'm a harmless person. You can trust me. You don't have to do your things. Keep an eye on whether I will take a stick and wallop you or not. No, trust me. And hopefully, I will also do the same to you. So I cover your back, you cover my back, I won't hurt you, you won't hurt me, everybody happy lah. Okay, so he gives, by practicing the precepts, the 5 precepts, he gives freedom from danger, from animosity, from oppression. In giving freedom from danger, freedom from animosity and oppression, he gains a measure in limitless freedom from danger, animosity, and from oppression. So when you give others this aspect of freedom from danger, animosity, and oppression, people also see that you are doing that. They also want to learn from you. They also want to have freedom. They also practice, and by them practicing, they means saying they also declare that I will not hurt you. So when you see that, oh, you also feel safe. You're not worried about them. Okay, I will not be cheated. I trust you. You also trust me. So there is a building of relationship, of trust, of confidence, of comfort. Not always have to kanchong, whatever he say, whatever he do behind me. While I kena wall up, will he steal my bag? I bring out. Where can I hide? I must look for locker. Must lock it up. Make sure the key. Take the key. Notice in Ananda, many people put stuff in the locker. Never bother to take the locker key. Why? They are practicing 5 precepts. Although they put a locker, not because they want to lock it up, it's a matter of neatness, so that they have a place to put it instead of carrying their bag all over the place. And yet they don't take the key. Why? They trust all other devotees and Nalandians here. And that's important because we are showing that we are giving freedom. They also trust us that we will not take their barang from the locker. That's why they don't bother to take the key. Okay? That's expression of that. You can see that happening. And that's why coming to a Buddhist center and you also practicing like everybody else, we are comfortable with each other. We can go on and do things together. Comfortability, no need to worry and all these kind of things. So this particular aspect of abandoning taking of life, abstaining from taking life, this is the first gift, the first great gift, original, long-standing, and so on. And of course, this sutta continues to the other, what they call precepts in the 5 precepts. Now, this particular sutta is very important. It shows us how you can practice, how to practice, not just reflecting, but reflecting as in the other suttas. Here, the Buddha was teaching his 7-year-old son. Okay, so the Buddha uses examples and wording which is suitable for a 7-year-old. And we are very much older than that. Okay, so we can understand. So the Buddha is giving some, what they call, some might say, maybe standard 1 advice, 7 years old, not kindergarten, but standard 1 advice, which is not complicated. So what do you think, Rahula? What is a mirror for? And Rahula said, for reflection, sir. So in the same way, Rahula, bodily actions, verbal actions, and mental actions are to be done with repeated reflection. Again, in all the other suttas, the Buddha talk about reflection, reflection, and reflection. Right? You think about, when you think about, you come out with the correct reasons, the wholesome reasons, the compassionate reasons. What happened? It translates into your character, what you do. So what you do comes from your head, your ideas, wrong ideas or right ideas. Once the idea is right, it translates into your bodily actions, how you do, how you say things, and so on. Okay, that is important. So reflection is very, very important aspect in Buddhism. Here, in this particular sutta, with respect to the 5 precepts, I only touch on bodily actions and verbal actions. I will not touch on mental actions. Okay, but which you can actually continue. But this particular sutta is very useful because the Buddha was teaching his young son, and we can actually benefit from this advice on how to practice the precepts. Now, and the Buddha continues, whenever you want to do a bodily action, actions by body, what in the 5 precepts, what kind of actions are by body? Avoidance of killing, avoidance of stealing, avoidance of sexual misconduct. So, and this particular section, the one brown box, when you want to do, it means before you do, you haven't done it, you're thinking about it. When you want to do this bodily action, you should reflect. That means you check on your action, you censor. So this bodily action I want to do. you consider, you reflect. Would it lead to self-affliction? Will you cause hurt, cause pain to yourself? Will it lead to affliction of others, cause hurt or pain to other people? Or to both, maybe both sides, the other person and you. Okay, sometimes it's not just the other person, sometimes it could be the other group of people. It could be your family, it could be the fellow Nalandians or society, other people. Okay, so before you do any bodily action, you should reflect whether it causes hurt to yourself, whether you hurt other people, or you hurt both parties, both groups. Not complicated stuff to think about, but the Buddha draws attention to this reflection. Would it be an unskillful bodily action with painful consequences and painful results? Now, here the Buddha says that unskillful bodily action. Here, Buddhism seldom talks about good and evil actions. The Buddhism talks about skillful actions and unskillful action. Okay, wise action and stupid things we do. Literally, stupid things we do. In some of the suttas, the Buddha used the term stupid because we didn't think, we never consider, we never reflect. We have brains, we are not stupid. Okay, but we can think about it. So would it be an unskillful bodily action? And unskillful bodily action leads to what? Painful consequences, painful results. And painful doesn't mean must be bodily pain. It can lead to bodily pain. It can lead to career pain. It can lead to family pain, emotional pain, mental pain. So many kinds of pains. So here in the colored box, if on reflection you know that. Now the Buddha is not telling you this equals this. When you know that, the Buddha says you have brains, you have common sense. You can think, you will know. So you will know that it will lead to self-hurt or self-affliction, affliction of others or to both. It would be an unskillful bodily action with painful consequences, painful results. Then any bodily action of that sort is absolutely unfit for you to do. So it's tells us, if you reflect upon this, it causes hurt to yourself, to others, or to both parties, both groups. That is clearly an unskillful action, a bodily action. And unskillful bodily will definitely lead to painful consequences and painful results. And you should stop doing. And all this is called before you even do, you're already reflecting, thinking, censoring, checking the idea of wanting to do. Now, but if on reflection, you know that it would not cause affliction, okay, that means it doesn't hurt yourself, it doesn't hurt other people, and it doesn't hurt both parties, it would be a skillful bodily action with pleasant consequences, pleasant results. Then any bodily action of that sort is fit for you to do. So this whole process is just to evaluate before you do anything. Now, here, that was before. You said, okay, it's fit to do, then you want to do. Here, the Buddha talks about even counter-checking, While you are doing a bodily action, you should reflect on it. This bodily action I am doing, is it leading to self-affliction, to the affliction of others, or to both? Is it an unskillful bodily action with painful consequences, painful results or not? Now, if on reflection, you know that it is leading to self-affliction, to the affliction of others, or to both, you should give it up. That means don't do. But if on reflection, you know that it is not, you may continue with it. So earlier was, before you do, you're thinking of doing something, you do this reflection. This is while you're doing it. And after you're finished, having done a bodily action, you should reflect on it. This bodily action I have done, did it lead to self-affliction, affliction of others, or to both? Was it an unskillful bodily action? Okay, and so on. And is it an unskillful bodily action with painful consequences and painful results? Now, if it was an unskillful bodily action, then you should confess it, reveal it, lay it open to the teacher or to a knowledgeable companion in the holy life. Having confessed it, you should exercise restraint in the future. Now, the bottom right box is of maybe strange to the rest of us. Why? At the time, young Rahula, although 7 years old, he was already a novice. He ordained his own son. The Buddha ordained his own son. So the young son is a trainee monastic, like a monk, not a fully ordained monk, observing only 10 precepts, and he was practicing. And the monastic training is that if you did something wrong, you should confess it. You reveal it. You don't keep your secret. Oh, I did something bad. I don't want to tell my teacher. No, but here the Buddha says you should confess it, reveal it, lay it open to teacher or to a knowledgeable companion. And then the important thing is you should exercise restraint in the future. Okay, you confess it and say, I'm sorry, I did something wrong. Okay, how many of us do that? Monastic training is this way. Now, but if on reflection, you know that it did not lead to affliction, it was a skillful bodily action with pleasant consequences, pleasant results, then you should stay mentally refreshed and joyful, training day and night in skillful mental qualities. And this whole process, before reflection for things you want to do before by body, before, during, and after, also covers on verbal action. So when you want to do a verbal action, you should reflect on it. While you're doing a verbal action, you should reflect on it. Having done a verbal action, you should reflect on it. So these are verbal. And the sutta actually continues on mental actions. Mental may be a bit difficult for us, but we can try on the body side and the verbal side, okay, at the earlier stage. This is how you can practice the 5 precepts. Now, although the Dighajanu, the lay person who was asking the Buddha about here and hereafter, what can we do? Now, whatever we do here on earth now affects the future. That's why the lay person asked the Buddha, oh, what can we do to lay the foundation for the future? Now, the future means that whatever actions we do with certain intentions has what in Buddhist concept called karmic consequences. Actions have consequences. We have heard of the Newton's third law. Whatever action got an equal and opposite reaction. But that one applies to space and stuff like that. But in terms of the moral laws, law of karma, it also has something similar. Not exactly the same, but similar. And this particular sutta is of interest to all of us who are interested to know, I did something good, whether in the later portion of this life or next life, what may happen? What can happen? Or I did something stupid in this life, the later portion of this life or in the next life, what can happen to me? Here, I give you one example. This sutta is quite long, give a lot of examples. So for those interested, you can read the whole sutta lah. The Chula Kamma Vibhanga Sutta. Chula means lesser, Kamma of actions, Vibhanga analysis. The lesser analysis of Kamma, which is the name, translation of this word. From the Majjhima Nikaya Sutta number 135. And again, it was a group of lay people in the kampong. They came to ask the Buddha. And what was the question? As he was sitting there, he said to the Buddha, Master Gautama, what is the reason? What is the cause? Why baseness and excellence are seen among human beings, among the human race? Here, and then the questioner elaborated. For short-lived and long-lived people are to be seen. There are sickly people, there are healthy people, there are ugly people, there are beautiful people, there are uninfluential people, there are influential people, there are poor people, there are rich people, low-born, high-born, there are stupid people, and there are wise or discerning people are to be seen. For what is the reason? What is the cause? This is a standard question that we always ask. Why is life so unfair? Of course, if we are in a fortunate position, they say, oh yeah, very fair for us. But what are other people? Not fair for them. Why? So the question of why is often asked by people to all religious teachings. And the Buddha answers this. It's because of your own earlier actions. A brief answer. Students, beings are owners of karma. What is karma? Actions. Your action of body, speech, and mind. Beings are owners of their actions. Heir to actions. What mean heir? You inherit your actions, whatever has been done. You're born of your earlier actions. It means you're born in rich family, poor family, you're born stupid, you're born smart, you're born handsome, you're born beautiful or ugly, whatever. Born of your earlier actions. Related through karma, related through your actions. So you complain about your family members, why your mother, father so soy, or your brother and sister so soy, or so good, so supportive, related through your earlier actions. Okay, you associate with each other because of this. They also have their own actions. These actions match each other. You're born in that family, you're related. And have karma as their arbitrator. Karma is what creates distinctions among beings in terms of coarseness and refinement. Now, the picture here is a gross oversimplification of what is karma, but it's simple enough to generate an initial idea. Actions have consequences. So if you sit there like an idiot, you do certain action, you think, nothing will happen to me, but the dominoes go one round, boom, you kena. If you did something stupid, you kena results. Only trouble is, what kind of results will happen? When it happen, don't know. It can be next moment, it can be the end of this life, next life, or the infinite next life, So people always ask, why I got bad luck? I didn't do anything bad. You are demanding, assuming that everything is like fast food. That I do now, the result come back immediately. No. So your bad luck could be something you did long time ago. That means earlier in this life, or 10,000 lifetimes ago. Don't know what you did. You don't even remember what you did yesterday, let alone previous life and 10,000 or million lifetimes ago. The actions you did hit you now. Okay, you suffer. Or the other action. Now, the earlier portion of my life, so sorry, my life also charm. The next thing you know, strike lottery. Your life become better. Where did lottery come from? Something good happened, something supportive happened. Okay? You might hear some strange stories. I heard one story. Scholarship look for people. Now, most of us, normal people, we have to apply. If you think, I think my result quite good, my track record in school quite good. So I apply to this scholarship. My parents don't have money to support me to go for further, so I apply Try. But have you heard of somebody's karma that is so good that he didn't apply? Actual case, I won't tell the person's name. He didn't apply, but multiple scholarships knock on his door, look for him. So his problem is called, which one to choose? It's called a pleasant problem. But scholarship look for him, So, karma. Where it come from? Don't know. What he did previously? Don't know. But the scholarship look for him at the appropriate time. Now, the first iteration. The Blessed One said, there is a case, student, where a woman or a man is a killer of living beings, brutal, bloody-handed, given to killing and slaying, showing no mercy to living beings. Now, through having adopted and carried out such actions on the breakup of the body after death, this person reappears in the plane of deprivation, or in plane existence lower than the human realm, in the bad destination, in lower realms, even in hell. Now here, this iteration talks about the what they call karmic results. You do certain unwholesome actions, there are consequences. Consequences make you not qualified to be born as a human being again. Not qualified. You are, because of your earlier actions, don't know when, next life is lower. Now, plane of deprivation, bad destination, lower realms, hell. Human realm, manusia loka, we are number 5 from the bottom. We don't want to go to plane of existence number 4, 3, 2, or 1. By the way, number 1 is hell. But hell in Buddhism and hell in other religions are different. Everything in these 31 planes of existence, although we human are number 5, are temporary. We are born there because of our earlier actions. We are born, live a life, and we die. And then we go to another plane of existence. Sometimes as humans, we are born again as human beings. No guarantee. Everything depends on your earlier actions of body, speech, and mind. Again, you determine your destination. You don't go to the temple and pray, may I be born as human. That doesn't work. Okay? So here the Buddha says, a killer of living beings. The person has caused so much hurt, so much unwholesome action, unskillful action. This person is well qualified for going worse and worse. Number 4, number 3, number 2, number 1, plane of existence. And definitely not qualified to be born as a human being. Now, if on the breakup of the body after death, instead of reappearing in a plane of deprivation, the bad destination, the lower realms, hell, he or she comes to the human state. That means the person has done a lot of bad things. By right, not qualified to be born as a human being, should be born below. But for some reason, he comes to be born as a human being again. Then he or she is short-lived wherever reborn. Short-lived, that means the person has very short life. Some people chiong meng, some people very short life because of disease or whatever reason. This person is actually not qualified for human realm, but for some reason he comes to be born as a human, he will be short-lived because lower realms, the lifespan is very short. Characteristic of lower planes. So this is the way leading to a short life, to be a killer of living beings, brutal, bloody-handed, given to killing and slaying, showing no mercy to living beings. So killing this kind of unwholesome actions, breaking the first precept, you are sowing the seed for short lives in the future. Now here, the reverse. But then there is a case where a woman or a man, having abandoned the killing of living beings, abstains from killing living beings, dwells with a rod laid down, knife laid down, scrupulous, merciful, sympathetic for the welfare of all living beings. Now, through having adopted and carried out such actions, on the breakup of the body after death, he or she reappears in the good destination in the heavenly world. Now, I mentioned in the good destination in the heavenly world. In Buddhism, we are not talking about when we die, we go to heaven or we go to hell. That is other religions' idea. The Buddha discovered there are 31 planes. Human realm is only number 5 from the bottom. Less fortunate, number 4, 3, 2, 1. But above us, there are many. Number 6 up to 31. Many. Okay, we determine where we go. So actually, it's not a matter of heavenly world, but heavenly worlds. So you want to go to heaven? Hey, easy. Yeah, you practice this lah. So this person is so wholesome, so do a lot of skillful, not qualified to be born human because, nice person, that didn't kill living. In fact, he's very sympathetic and merciful to welfare of other living beings. So by right, should be born in the heavenly worlds. But, the next slide. For some reason, he's already qualified for heavenly world, not qualified for human, but somehow, for some whatever reason, he comes to be born as a human being again. Because he has been saving lives and very sympathetic, and be born as a human, he is long-lived wherever reborn. So this is the recipe for long life. Maybe not now, but never done your bodies like that lah. But you can sow your seeds for next time. So this is the way leading to a long life, to have abandoned the killing of living beings, to abstain from killing living beings. And important thing, sympathetic for the welfare of all living beings. The bottom right picture is of what they call a pair of twin sisters. They have lived a very, very long life. Now, this particular sutta talks about something beyond what Dighajanu asked the Buddha. Dighajanu asked, what can I do to take care of here and now and in the hereafter? This sutta talks about, although you practice sila to take care of the hereafter, you can even go beyond that. That means beyond being born. That means towards enlightenment. Okay, towards enlightenment. So here, Sa Upadisesa Sutta from the Anguttara Nikaya, book of 9. There are 9 things, but I'm not going to show you all 9. And why something in brown box with something left over? Now, the person who has fulfilled ethics, sila, who has limited concentration or immersion and limited wisdom, what happens? Okay. Now, this table on the right is very important. Now, for those who want to gain enlightenment, not arahatship yet, maybe too difficult, that's our thinking. Okay, there are 4 stages, 4 stages of enlightenment. We can try to attain the first stage of enlightenment, or stream meaning, or the Pali word is called Sotapanna. And on the table is the bottom right, in black. Bottom right, Sotapanna. This is the first stage of enlightenment. Second stage of enlightenment is Sakadagami. Now, this is step by step reaching full enlightenment. Anagami is the third stage of sainthood or stream meaning, Anagami. And after Anagami is Arahat. Arahat means an ordinary person who listens to the teachings of Buddha, practice it, and attain enlightenment for themselves. Okay? So these are the 4 stages of enlightenment. Now, why did I show this table? Well, with respect to the practice of sila, the whole time we were talking about sila, of moral training, of virtues and all that. Sila, how much must you do? How expert must you be to practice moral? And the Buddha always says, you need to practice sila, samadhi, panya. Samadhi is concentration. Panya is development of wisdom. Okay? All sila, samadhi, panya is incorporated in the Noble Eightfold Path. So how much sila must you do? How much samadhi must you do? How much panya you must develop to at least attain the first stage of sainthood, the easiest, which is number 9, right at the bottom. Notice, right at the bottom left, under sila column, sila must be fulfilled. You must practice it well. Very, very well. 100%. A student. Okay, A practitioner. Fulfilled, the Buddha used the term. Even though your concentration, samadhi, is limited, your panya, your wisdom level is limited. But just because you got very strong or perfect sila, you got very good chance to attain sotapan. And what is the benefit of attaining even sotapan, the first stage of sainthood? You go to the wording, the paragraph here. With the ending of 3 fetters. There are 10 fetters. Okay, Arahat has eliminated all 10 fetters. The first 3, you eliminate fetters or defilements, something that affects your character. It holds you back from attaining any of the stages here. But with the ending of 3 fetters, they have at most 7 more rebirths. Now, in the unending samsara, cycle of birth and death, 7 rebirth is kacang putih. We have been around in this cycle of birth and death for millions and millions of births. So 7 more is 7 more. Once you attain sotapan, you cannot, they will transmigrate or be reborn at most 7 times among the devas, the gods, or among the humans, and then make an end of suffering. This is the 9th person. Okay, make an end suffering means if they are very slow in practicing, at most they have 7 more births. Within the 7 births, they will attain arahatship. When they attain arahatship, what happens? They will not be born in samsara anymore. Okay, a Buddha or his enlightened disciples are arahats. I'm talking about arahats. All arahats have uprooted, got rid of the 10 defilements. And the result of the 10 defilements is you cannot say, where is the Buddha now? Where was he reborn? That question does not apply. Why? He is disqualified from being reborn. He has no more defilements. Okay? So if you want to be reborn, you maintain your defilements. And of course, maintain defilements means you have suffering, you have happiness, but short-lived happiness and all those kind of things, which we encounter in all our lives, in all our wanderings in samsara. But if you have had enough already, I don't want any more to do with samsara, being born again and again, whether in the hell world, number 1, born a human, number 5, or born at 31, the arupa lokas, or going up and down the 31 plane existence. I don't want any of that anymore. I want out. What happens? You need to uproot all 10. But for the rest of us, we are, shall we say, either lazy or have doubt as to our capability. At least we try for number 9 lah. So number 9, minimum, you need to develop your 5 precepts fulfilled. Must be very, very strong, fulfilled. Even though your meditation is so-so, your panya is so-so, but sila is the requirement. Okay? So this is the important. Here, I'm coming to the end of this morning's Dhamma sharing. Last 2 slides. In the end, you are responsible. You don't pray to somebody and throw your responsibility to somebody else and let the person be responsible for you. You are in control. And in this particular sutta, the Buddha says, I am the owner of my deeds. Whatever I do, who did it? You lah. So you are responsible. And heir to my deeds. You inherit your deeds. All the Lamborghinis, Porsche, all your stock bonds, and all the money you have, when you pass away, how to transfer? You think you burn the paper gold? It's called bluffing you lah. Bone gold, you think can transfer me? No. Only one thing can follow you in samsara. Your earlier actions. Whether skillful actions or unskillful. Stupid actions or wise actions. How much you have developed yourself. That is all you carry with you. Because it is those actions that determine where you are born and in which family. These are my womb, are my relative. And even your opportunity to hear the Dhamma or something block you from hearing Dhamma or open the doors for you to practice Dhamma. I want to apply leave to my boss. I want, 1 month meditation leave so that I can fly to this place, this monastery. I want to meditate there. My refuge. How easy for your boss to approve your leave, also determined by your early actions, whether you're fortunate or not fortunate. Or you want to come on Sunday to listen talk, so boss say, cannot, today overtime, must, jaga the shop. What to do? Cannot come for the talk. Things block. So things that block you, or the things or doors that open for you, don't blame somebody else, don't blame your boss. Blame on you. So I shall be the heir, inheritor of whatever deeds I do, whether they are good or bad. So you must do something about it, if you want something. Now notice, in the whole of today's session, everything is about these 2 things. So summarized nicely in the Mangala Sutta. Mangala Sutta is about Sutta on ongness. Very ong for us, very hosi, very blessing. 2 things. As far as unwholesome actions or thinking and so on, you must refrain from what is that. And all those skillful actions, you must start doing and do repeatedly. This is the principle. So in the whole of the 5 precepts, or any additional precept, whether 10 precepts or 227 precepts or 300 over precepts, is based on this only, this principle. As you remember this, unwholesome, refrain, don't do. You do already, you regret it, but you make a promise to yourself, I will try my best not to do it again. Okay? So you train yourself. And if you're doing something wholesome, Please do it frequently. Now, these two, although simplistic, is two, is part of the Noble Eightfold Path, right? Right effort. Right effort actually divided into 4, not 2. Now, right effort talks about anything unwholesome, unskillful, you have not learned how to do. You are not drug addicts. Don't start. So, you have not learned how to do some bad things, don't start. That's the first thing. Whatever bad things you have, please, lesson is hold on you. Do less and less and less with a target of 0. Bad things. We don't expect you to say, oh, I will not do this bad thing again. Hey, you think you can, man? You have been doing it your whole life, your habit. You think so easy to let go, man? Okay? You have to step by step weaken it. So attack those which are easy to get rid of. The harder one, you weaken with the ultimate goal of make it 0. 0 unskillful actions. What about wholesome actions? Whatever wholesome action you have not learned how to do, please learn how to do. Find out about them and learn how to do. And whatever wholesome actions, some of us we do a little bit of wholesome action. Some of us certain kind of actions we do a lot of that kind of action. Okay, the one we are doing a lot, please steadfast, continue doing it and bring it stronger. Those we do occasionally do some wholesome action, like some of people are once a year Buddhist, try to come more often then if you come more frequently, come every week to Nalanda to listen to Dhamma talk, and opportunities to do wholesome things, then you develop. So these are the 4 things. But in principle, these 4 things are divided into the don't do the unwholesome and do more of the wholesome. These 2 main categories. That is the primary message of the Sila Sampada. That means the development of moral standing. Now, from this Dhammapada verse 183, Sabba papasa akaranang kusala sa upasampada sacitta paridapanang etang buddhana sasanang. That we should avoid all evil, do good, purify your mind. This is the teaching of the Buddhas. So the whole of this morning is a repeat of this message. Notice, I show you different suttas. The Buddha addressed the issue of sila, of avoiding evil, do good, from this angle, how to do, and so many angles. And the implications is, finally, if purify your mind, you can get enlightenment. Okay, so the different angles. And so many sources. You can be sure there are more. Due to limited time, I only show you a few. Some people might say, yo, you show so many suttas. Sutta for me. Well, it's for illustration purposes to show you that the Buddha in front of different people, in different kampong, in different times, he has addressed this issue from this angle, the angle, the angle. And so give you a survey of the teachings of the Buddha. You can appreciate the importance of cultivating your ethics and so on, and put it into daily practice. So with that, Sat Dhammo Jirang Ditatu. May the good doctrine long endure. Sabbe Satta Sukhi Hontu. May all beings be happy.
Thank you, Brother Ananda Fong, for the insightful teaching. So do you want to go to heaven? Or do we want to be enlightened? So do you remember how many suttas Brother Ananda shared just now?
I didn't count also.
I have counted 8 sutta altogether. So if you pass the 50%, I think we have the ticket to heaven. Of course, this is a joke only. The most important thing that Brahmananda advised is to learn how to refrain from the unwholesome deeds, and also cultivate the wholesome deeds, right? So right now we have time for the Q&A. Treasure the opportunity and ask Brother Ananda some question, because Brother Ananda is a walking dictionary, so he can quote a lot of sutta for our references as well, right? So just put up your hand, Sister Chui Feng.
I don't know there's a good repetition or bad.
Thank you, Brother Ananda. Good morning, brothers and sisters. Brother, don't mind to go back to the slide. Something is left over. You don't mind to go back to the slide? Yeah. Something is left over. Yeah. Yeah. Brother, my question is, when you look at this table, we have 9. So since Sotapan and Sakadagami, they are different sainthood, they are in different level of Aryan, and why the attainments of these two are the same? Yeah, could you please advise? Thank you.
Okay. Now, I mentioned earlier that here the fulfillment, that means graduation from this list, that means going away from Sotapan, Saragami, and Anagami and attaining Arahat, you have to uproot 10 defilements. So we're talking about the 10 defilements. Here, number 9, right at the bottom, Sotapan, the first stage of sainthood, is the ending of 3 fetters, the first 3. Now, Sakadagami, the second stage of sainthood, is to do with the weakening of another 2 more defilements. Weakening, not uprooting, weakening enough that you can attain the Sakadagami. Now, only when you attain Anagami, you have uprooted these earlier 2 fetters you have weakened. Now, since I mentioned there are 10, and number 7, 8, 9, Sotapan, you must uproot 3, and number 6, you need to weaken 2, and number 1 to 5, you need to uproot the balance 2. That means the whole of this table, 1 to 9, that means right at Anagami, you have only uprooted 5 of the 10 defilements. And in some of the suttas, the Buddha refers to it as the 5 lower fetters. 5 lower fetters, you can attain Anagami. And nice thing about Anagami is that on passing away, you are born in the Brahma worlds, and from there, that means you're not eligible to be born as human. You're so pure and well accomplished that you're born in a very high. I think it's a plane existence number 27, if I'm not mistaken, out of 31. So very, very high up there. And from there, you practice to eliminate the 5 higher factors. So I'm not too sure your question. Sakadagami is just weakening of 2 more factors only. But it's related to the weakening of what they call greed, hatred, and delusion, basically on that line. Only Anagami, you have uprooted these 2. I don't know whether I have addressed your question or not. Which you should understand from the entering the stream already. Yes, brother.
Morning, Brother Ananda. And thank you for the very enlightening talk. My question is also pertaining to this slide. What is the actual definition of limited samadhi? For Sotapan, at least a person has to develop first jhana, but we know that he may not need to master it. He may just need to just achieve first jhana without mastering it. But I would like to know, what is the difference between limited and fulfilled samadhi?
Okay, I don't have the perfect answer for you. I'm also asking the question. But generally, immersion or samadhi, the other suttas define samma samadhi, okay, perfect concentration, as that for a person who has attained at least the up to the 4th jhana, okay, 4th jhana. The other, some commonly referred to as the arupa jhanas, that term is actually technically wrong. There's no such thing as arupa jhana. Arupa means formless. Okay. Here, the 4th jhana means 4th rupa jhana. The other 4, the immaterial levels, are actually not called jhanas, though it is a commentarial term. In the suttas, it is actually to do with bases.
ayatana, sir.
But as far as the Sama Samadhi suttas that refer to Sama Samadhi in the Noble Eightfold Path, they're talking to you must attain at least the what they call the fourth jhana, okay, hopefully to obtain. But yet there are other suttas that say that even if you have attained the first jhana, the lower levels of concentration, and that if you what they call reflect with wisdom on the three characteristics, anicca, dukkha, anatta, you can still attain enlightenment with the first jhana. So it doesn't mean that you must already at 4, then only you got chance to get enlightenment. No, there are other suttas that even on practice Brahma Vihara, metta bhavana, loving kindness meditation, compassionate meditation, and so on the Brahma Viharas, that they attain even the first jhana alone, and then the jhana has a characteristic of temporarily suppressing your hindrances, nivarana. Now, all meditators will face this problem. They want to sit down calmly, they want to go and meditate, and some of us have what they call restless mind. Our mind is jumping here, jumping there, cannot sit still. Some people, you describe the person as a person who cannot sit still. Those people have restless mind. Restlessness in the mind is a mental hindrance. It means something that blocks you from going further. Another person has got a different character. Some people are lazy, or some people use the term sleepyhead. So when he tries to go and meditate, the next thing you know, you hear snoring. Sitting down, not lying down, sitting down, like that. So this is also another hindrance, sloth and torpor. Okay, and of course there are others. Altogether, there are 5 things that block you from becoming, allowing your mind to be concentrated. Now, concentration of the mind is important. It's a tool to stop your mind from, I use the term scatterbrain, or other Dhamma speakers use the word monkey mind. Most of us have monkey mind. Our mind jump here, jump there, restlessness. Some of us, of course, very lazy, sloth and sleepy mind. So, but when you have that, you cannot use the mind to do something. The Buddha doesn't treat the mind as a soul. The Buddha treats the mind like our hands, our legs. We can do something with it. We need to train ourselves to be skillful. So do something with your hand. What? If you train yourself to be a carpenter, you're very skillful to work with your hands on wood. If you're a blacksmith, you're skillful with your hands to shape metal, hot metal, and so on. Or if you're a chef, well, the first thing in chef world is called, and other aspects of cooking. So this is skill. So the Buddha treats the mind as another appendage that you can develop and make it skillful. And the first thing we encounter in our using our mind to do something is, our minds are not where we want it to be. It's here, there, everywhere. So we have to get our minds back, okay, so that it can be more focused into one point, almost like a magnifying glass. So the practice of concentration helps us to focus, and to be able to focus, we have to pass through this gate called the hindrances, the 5 hindrances. Overcome it. Initially, most of us will have great difficulty passing through it. But after some time, with skill and practice and determination, for us to go into jhana, the deep concentration, we can pass through and eliminate the hindrances very more easily. Then you can habitually go into jhana. And going into jhana also got skill level. Some people, the suttas on Sama Samadhi talk about people who, having gone suppress the hindrances, mental hindrances, no more restless mind, no more sleepy mind and other things. The person at will, that means he take a bus from Subang Jaya to go to Kuala Lumpur to work. He bought the bus, sit in the chair there, not cross-legged, just sit nicely with other passengers. The person can go straight into jhana at will. No need quiet environment, because it's still practicing so much so that anytime the person wants to go into jhana, at least the first jhana, the person can go. So jhana development is usually, occasionally enter jhana, then come out. And then try again, got difficulty, try to go. Then pass through the hindrances, then try to go jhana. That is called the air license level, beginner stage. But you practice some more, next thing the person become very skillful. Anytime he seated in the quieter environment, the person can enter jhana quite within a short time. But the most skillful of even the first jhana is anywhere, right in the middle of the street. The person want to go to jhana, he can go. That's called very skillful. That's only the first jhana. He want to go to the second jhana, he has the same problem. Go in, cannot sustain, come out. Go in, come out. Then you practice more, then he can go in easily. So the most skillful during the Buddha's time of people who can go immediately to the fourth jhana expertly are only two people, the Buddha and Venerable Maha Moggallana. Only two. The other people need some time to go, need some boot up time. Moggallana, when you say no boot up time means earlier in the puja you recited the first 3 verses of the Jaya Mangalagata. Okay, you go for, I forgot what verse. They talk about a case where the Buddha wanted to teach a naga, like a dragon-like creature, very fierce, very dangerous, because nagas like dragons can spew fire and kill you, or rather cremate you. And that's what actually happened. The Buddha knew that. So in that particular story, the Buddha and a few of his monks who get psychic power. How you get psychic power? You meditate up to 4th jhana. You have mind over matter. You can levitate, fly in the air. I want to go there. You can walk up in the sky and do this. It's mind over matter. No big deal. You don't have to be a Buddhist to be able to do that. Anybody who developed this. So it can be from any religion, but if you have the skill, you can do that. In this case, a group of monks, Buddha, Moggallana, and a few others, walk up the sky, purposely walk over the Himalayas, over the place where this particular naga, the Buddha was targeting this naga. Why? This naga's karma was ripening, and an opportunity to be tamed and benefit from the Dhamma by the Buddha. So the Buddha purposely went over his house in the caves in the Himalayas, and early in the morning, and the naga happened to come out of the cave. Wow, so nice morning. Then he saw, hey, what is this group of botak? When I use the word botak, this is the ancient way in India, even human beings in India 2,600 years ago, when they scold a person who renounced the word, they call him botak. That's their way of the so-called 4-letter word. Botak. Botak happens to be 5-letter word. Anyway, call him botak. So, hey, this botak, why you're flying above my house? You want to dirty my house because their legs are pointing down. So he wanted to go and attack the group with the Buddha in the front. So other monks who got psychic power wanted to fly in front of the Buddha and block the naga. And the Buddha said, no, you monks go belakang, line up. Moggallana, kau tim. Buddha knew what the naga will do. So Moggallana, with his psychic power, he went as a human being, skilled in psychic power, that means attainment of 4th jhana, he transformed himself into another naga, but bigger size naga. So they call naga wrestling. But since Moggallana made himself to a bigger size naga, the other naga lost because you cannot fight with the bigger size guy. You can throw him here, throw him there, and cannot. Then Moggallana decided, okay, he tried another trick. He made himself into, in cartoon world, they call it atom ant. Very small ant, but can fly. Fly, go into that naga's stomach. And in the stomach, disturb him. Go bang in the stomach, boom, 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 boom. Oh, yo, 头痛. Then the naga said, okay, I give up. I surrender. But he was lying. The naga was lying. You say, how are you thinking? I say I surrender means he will come out. But when he comes up, I will give the most powerful flame I can ever master. And sure enough, Moggallana flew out. He flame throwing. So other monks, if the Buddha allowed other monks to be there, they got Buddha time. They will have been cremated instantly. Since the Buddha said, Moggallana, you count him, because only Buddha can go less than snap of a finger, go straight into 4th jhana. 4th jhana has the ability. You can make yourself create what they call in sci-fi world, force field. So Moggallana was fireproof, instantly. Blow fire, his hair not burned. After that, this fellow still floating in the air like that. No? Nothing happened to the person. Then the Naga knew, hey, this Ma Chai, not even the Buddha, so king, so capable, oh, he must be superior to him, although he's a Naga king. So he calmed down. He subdued his anger, his pride, and everything. Then only the Buddha can start teaching him and sharing the Dhamma. So sometimes some people you have to count in their aggressive nature, get past that, then the person willing to sit down and listen to you. In this case, of course, the Buddha is skillful. He can use his psychic power for a certain purpose. So back to this, Samadhi is talking about going into jhana, concentrated mind, so you're not disturbed by your hindrances. Then you use the mind. Jhana is for a means to an end. When you use a concentration to focus on what? On mindfulness again, back to mindfulness, samasati, to look at the nature of anicca, dukkha, anatta. But back to your question, limited. To what extent is it? I have not found other suttas yet to describe in more detail. How you mean by limited? To what extent is limited? And wisdom also.
Maybe it means just able to reach, but not master it at will, like what you said. Not doing at will.
You don't, but I already clarified. You do not need to reach fourth jhana to be able to attain arhat. But many suttas indicate, like Venerable Sariputta and all that, they can reach fourth jhana and go beyond. That means the arupa basis, go beyond. But he's already arahat, so he just go deeper. But there are other suttas describe even people who attain first jhana, the basic level, but they use that deep concentration, not super deep as fourth jhana, but deep concentration in first jhana to reflect on anicca, dukkha, anatta, and they become enlightened. Can. So all this Noble Eightfold Path is to be used. So meditation is a means to an end, not the end itself. Just because, I meditated for 30 years, so what? What have you gained? Look at your character, still quick to anger. Then meditation you have failed in your practice. So it is a means to an end. You should transform your character to become better and better. If you're a hot-tempered person, you should become less and less hot-tempered, more kind, more smiling, and all that. If possible, if you have meditated for 30 years, so advanced in your meditation, you should have zero anger. But if you're still angry, then something wrong with your practice. You didn't do it quite right yet. So don't think meditation is for meditation's sake. It is to be used to do something else. It's to meet yourself. Like for instance, in sports, as in Kung Fu, whatever, you have to do a lot of exercises to tone up your this muscle, that muscle, that muscle. Many muscles you have never heard of, this part of the body, that part of the body, so that you can somersault or do certain things. So you must do preliminary exercises to make yourself flexible or strengthen that part. So a lot of this aspect, and Sama Samadhi is also one of these aspects. Of course, it has other uses, okay, but treat it as a means to an end, okay, to develop so that you can carry on in the practice to do some more. Okay?
Understood.
So I didn't answer your question. I also have that question.
fully understood. But is there time for one more question? Brother Ananda, you spoke of killing being just avoidance of killing, and that alone, that person may not may be able to escape hell and the lower realms. But we know that, for someone to escape that, they actually have to fulfill 5 or, by extension 10 demeritorious deeds in different sutta. So how do we reconcile these two? On one side, you only need to avoid killing, but on the other side, you need to fulfill all 5. In fact, you have to do all 10.
I have not found the 5, the one you're talking about. There is a being, then you have intention, then you do the action, the being dies, and so on. The 5. I have not found that mentioned in any particular sutta. I may be wrong, but I personally have not found. I suspect that thing we learn from standard Buddhist textbook is probably from the commentaries for the Venerable to explain more clearly so that the people like us students can understand clearly. And the 10 meritorious deeds, the traditional dana, sila, bhavana, ending with right view, that list we learned in the BPS course, the 10, is not found in any one sutta. All 10 are not found in any one sutta. These are a bit here, a bit there. The acharyas of old, they group it together. Individually, they are found in different suttas. They group it together to form something which is good for us. All the 343 are, that's the Salayaka Sutta, that one is a different one. Yeah. A bit technical, so. Okay, I think we have come to the end of this morning session. We have other programs coming up.
Let us together say sadhu to Brother Ananda Fong. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.